All right, Greg and Jimmy back with another edition of Who You Got. We thought it'd be fun to do it here about 4 o'clock on a Sunday so we can bitch about losing the early games and talk about the late games. Jimmy, but before we get to football, let's start with your UFC. How'd it go yesterday?
Not great. Not how I thought it would go. Good for Brandon Allen for knocking RDR out. Like I said, RDR is huge for the division. Brandon Allen, that was probably his only method of victory. I didn't think he was going to outpoint him. So good for him. And then the Minot fight, I thought it would go the distance and she would win, but we just picked the distance. But she knocked Jasuda Vicious out. She'd gone to decisions her last 4 fights, and Jasuda Vicious is a very tough competitor. That was a hell of a performance by her. I gave out 2 other fights that I was kind of like so on, and I wasn't going to play. I said I would take Kevin Holland and to beat Mike Malott, and Zahabi to beat Chito Vera. And if we would have bet that, we would have gone 1-1. So really, no harm, no foul there. But yeah, no, good night of free fights. Didn't really get to watch them. Just kind of followed on my phone as I was at a birthday party. But it was good. Drew Dober, I mentioned him in the prelims, and he got a knockout. So nice work by Dober. Couldn't have bet it. It was like minus 300, but he came through. So yeah, overall good night of free fights. We've got on our show later this week, which we're going to do on Friday, we'll dive into the pay-per-view because there is a big fight. Tom Aspinall is finally defending the heavyweight belt after John Jones, kind of walked away against Cyril Gahn. So we will dive into that on Friday.
Thank God, I've been waiting for that fight, so I'm glad we're I'm glad we're diving into it. Well, we were watching Thursday night. We were watching the Jays kick the hell out of the Mariners, and we thought, oh, maybe they will take all 3 in Seattle. That didn't happen. Seattle came back in Game 5. Moves to Game 6 tonight. Jays a 130 favorite last I checked. I still like them. I know maybe I'm just holding on because that was, what I wanted to see happen, but I think they win the night, and then they close it out in Game 7. That's kind of my prediction here, so anyone who hears this before Game 6 starts, if I get it posted that quick, I take the Jays to win the LCS plus 245.
Yeah, I agree with you. We talked about this earlier. I would move the line on the Jays. You have to go back to September 26th to find a game that the Jays have won by less than 3 runs. So when they win big. So I'm going to check it right now while we're talking, but that's what I would do. I would go and move this. If you think the Jays are going to win it, chances are they're going to win it by multiple runs. So I would dive into it, and I would move the run line up. Let's see if I can figure out what that would look like here. But that's because they seem to either get hot or they just lose the game. So that would be my I would do it. So here we go. If we move the Jays to -3, it gets you plus 334. That's how I would play tonight. I'd take the Jays to win by 3 for a single unit and try to triple up real fast.
So you want to move it to 2.5 so you get the win. So plus 240.
Okay, there we go. Good call. Yep. I think because, like I said, you've got to go back almost 3 weeks to find a game they've won that they didn't win by 3, and that game they won by 2. So I didn't check how far you'd have to go back to find a single run game, but my guess is it's pretty far.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, look, makes sense. I think the Jays win. Who knows? 2.5's a lot in baseball, but I get what you're saying, that they seem to play games this way. So I can understand the theory. But I think the Jays win tonight, and then we get a Game 7. Just my gut. All right. Before we get into the disaster that was, the Miami Hurricane football team Friday night.
Unbelievable.
I know. It really is. Any thoughts on NBA since we're not going to be here before the season gets started on Tuesday? We got the Thunder giving 8.5 to the Rockets, and then the late game, the Warriors giving 1.5 on the road to the Lakers.
I would lean OKC. Again, I think that they are that good. I think they're bringing everybody back, basically, and the Rockets obviously have a new cast of characters. I don't think that bodes well to start a season. So I would lean OKC at home. I don't think hanging the banners is going to affect them. They seem to be all business. And I would lean Lakers. I mean, I think Luka's going to come out. I know LeBron's not there, but it's the Luka show. I mean, that's too close of a line. They're playing at home. I'd lean Lakers. So if you want to bet NBA, that's what I would take the 2 home teams. I think the Thunder, the line's not too big for a team that's going to try to figure out how to play together in the Rockets. And yeah, Unless you see something in Golden State that they think is unbelievable.
We'll definitely be playing the Lakers on opening night. I like the Lakers, but I personally I like the 8.5 of the Rockets. I think it's hard. Banner night, you might come out with you might exert a lot of energy just because of the emotions that are running, and then I think maybe the Rockets keep it close. I think the Thunder probably win, obviously, but maybe the Rockets keep it close and we get a late cover and they lose the game by 5-6. That's kind of where I'm leaning there. I don't think the Rockets are a train wreck. I think they're a decent basketball team.
Oh, I think they're going to be good. I just, when they're like I said, learning to play together. It's a new season. What's it going to look like? I'm looking for the total. I got to tell you, I would take the over in the Thunder game. I like totals in the NBA. I think they're going to come out on fires 227. I think that's going to be a high scoring affair. The only argument you can make against it is that the Thunder locked down the Rockets on defense, in which case it would lean to taking the -8.5.
Yep.
But the Thunder are going to score, and the Rockets obviously have a lot of firepower and Kevin Durant now. So I think that's a play. I actually would go the other way on the Lakers-Warriors game. The 224, I would take the under. Luka likes to play he plays at his own pace, slows the game down quite a bit. They can obviously get hot quick, but I think the under would come in there if you were going to play a total either way.
All right, there's our opening night NBA picks for you. Let's go to some college football. It's happened, Jimmy. Billy's out. Florida Gators say thanks for playing. It's been a nice 4 years, but Sunbelt Billy out. Does he go back to the Sunbelt, or is he out of coaching for a little while?
No, I think he probably goes back to the Sunbelt. I mean, he'll go to a smaller school, right? Someone that because his name will still be a splash for a small school, right? Like they'll overpay because who he is, even though he didn't have obviously the success that they thought he was going to have. But that I think he lands somewhere probably next, if he wants to. I mean, he might maybe he doesn't want to, but I would think he would.
Yeah. So my take here is I really think this is more has to do with the first 3 years than this year. Because to your point, I mean, their schedule this year, like we've been talking about on this show, has been. I mean, it was a bear. So 3-4 against this schedule. I think that's what they are now, right? It's not. It's not as terrible as it looks. This was a ridiculously hard schedule. So I think this more has to do with none of these years have gone the way that Florida wanted them to go. So I understand it. I don't know where Florida's going to go next. I don't know. Could we see a James Franklin down in the South?
I mean, if they want to lose some more. I mean, look, they're going to lose to Georgia next week. They should beat Kentucky. They'll lose to Ole Miss. They'll lose to Tennessee. And then Florida State doesn't look great. That's a coin flip. But it is. I know that they were disappointed in the game, but it's wild that he was done after a win. You would think it would come after a loss. But yeah, I mean, it is like their schedule is with just a gauntlet. Like holy shit. The only way. I mean, look, the South Florida loss doesn't look great, but the other losses were to good teams. They beat Texas. They've lost to A&M. There's no shame in that. Yeah. So I don't know. I sort of think he got a little bit of a raw deal. I think he probably lands on his feet. Like I said, Florida's gonna, maybe win 2 more games this year. I could see him losing to. I can't imagine they lose to Florida State at the Swamp to end the season, but they could, right?
Crazy things have happened. Right?
Yeah, they could. I mean, if they don't beat Kentucky, they might not win another game this year.
You're not wrong. I mean, but to your point, like it's kind of crazy that they did fire him after a win.
He still won the game, right?
He did win the game. I mean, it was a game that they probably shouldn't have been sweating as much as they did, but to your point, they won the game.
They won the game. They won the game against a Mississippi State team who beat Arizona State, right? Had a really tough game against a good Tennessee team. The game they got stomped was by A&M, and again, there's no shame in that. A&M's a really good team, so I don't know. It seems like odd timing. Like, what do you gain by doing this right now?
Since you brought it up, I'm going to jump to that because I wrote it down. I think A&M is now in the top 3, I believe, top 4. I think they're 3rd, actually, in the new poll. They're a dangerous team because they look like they can win games 45-42 like they just did, or they can win games like they did in Auburn, win games 16-10. So it's like they'll play whatever style you want to play, and they seem like they're better than you at it.
No, I agree. Marcel Reed looked really good last game. Almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. I think A&M's really good. I would have, before this week, we'll talk about it, I'm sure, but I would have taken Tech over an A&M, but now I'm not so sure. And that's the thing, right? Like when you look at the landscape in general, like they're the team that is undefeated. They're the team that's winning the games they're supposed to win. So yeah, I think A&M's very, very legit.
11-1 to win the Natty right now. Probably the best odds on the board.
Yeah.
Ohio State plus 260, Bama 6.5 to 1, Indy 8 to 1, Oregon 9.5 to 1, and then A&M, the fifth choice down the board, tied with Notre Dame actually, both 11 to 1.
Yeah,
they could be the best value on the board.
I think they are.
So I'm going to keep an eye on them for us because I think I like where this is going. All right.
What did you say Indiana was?
Indiana's 8 to 1.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think A&M is the best value. I mean, there's only 3 undefeated teams at the top there. I know BYU is, but I don't know. You don't put the same stock. Well, Georgia Tech as well, shockingly. But yeah, I think A&M is the best value on the board. I am hot on Indiana though. I mean, they've got the quarterback. They keep winning. They seem to be getting better.
It's a better chance Erie Community College, I'm just assuming there's one, wins the Natty than Georgia Tech.
That's where you'd be wrong. Erie's not big enough to have a community college.
Didn't even get to college. All right, well, whatever the regional community colleges, there's a better chance they go and win on the Natty than G Tech. I'll tell you that right now.
No, Indiana. I'm saying Indiana. I think Indiana's getting.
Indiana's fine.
Yeah.
But you mentioned G Tech as.
Oh yeah. G Tech not, but there's. I mean, 7-0. I didn't see that coming.
Well, I took a lot of shit on some of the comments left on our short where I previewed that game and called it the trap of the week. Yeah, I always come on here and I never lie. Yeah, I was dead wrong. It was a loser. I've never said I'm going to pick 100% of the games. I try to get us hopefully around that 60% mark and make us a lot of money. But I just want to say to all of you geniuses out there, did you actually handicap the game and go, all right, I know Duke's going to get in the red zone 3 times and first and goal from the 2 twice and not score? I know it. Because if you did, you got to come on this show with us and tell us your secret.
Yeah, spoiler alert, everybody. We're going to get some wrong.
Well, not even that. I hate to break it to you. Just because you bet Georgia Tech, hats off to everyone who bet Duke. You bet the right side. They're not going to win all the time. But that was the right play with the number. I mean, if they win that game, what? 7 out of 10 times? They're going to get in the end zone twice there?
Yeah, sometimes it's like playing blackjack. When you've got a 16 and they're showing a king and you hit and you bust, you still made the right decision, right? Yeah. Like so. Yep, I get it.
So, all right. Vandy moves to the top 10. How about that?
Yeah.
What is the ceiling for this team? Could they win the Natty since we're talking about it, or do they have next to no chance?
I don't know if they can or not. I would say no. What are the odds on them? What's their?
Let's pull that back up.
But I'll tell you that Diego Pavia is the real deal, and he didn't have a monster game, and they still beat LSU. Nussmeier, he didn't play a bad game either, but he's not you would have thought he was a Heisman hopeful, like we talked about, and potentially a first-round draft pick. All of that's out the window at this point. Yep. He's a third round at best if he's lucky. Somebody will take a swing on him. But what has he done?
40 to 1. 40 to 1 for Vandy.
That's not crazy. I wouldn't even say compete. I'd say throw a single unit on that because why not, right? They're beating. It's not like they're doing this and they're beating bad teams. They're doing this against, good teams. And they were in that Alabama game, they lost by 16. I mentioned it before, but I'll say it again. It was closer than 16, right? Like it was a good game. Like so they didn't get, I know that that's the final score and it is what it is, but like that, so I don't know. I think, they beat South Carolina when they were ranked. They beat LSU, who we thought we were going to be really good. They were in the game with Alabama. The good news for Vanderbilt in getting there is if they really do, look, they've got Missouri, then they've got Texas, they've got Auburn, and they've got Tennessee, Kentucky, but then they end the year with Tennessee. Like if they get to the end of the year and they can lose another game and still get in the playoffs. If they lose one of those, in my opinion, right? They can be a 2+ team at the end.
The problem they're going to have is they got 4 teams in their own conference ahead of them. I don't know if they're going to be able to take 5 from the SEC. The committee will just get roasted,
but
they will. Then you got Oklahoma sitting at 13. And it's getting to the point where maybe we just do need a college playoff with just the SEC and the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong there. I mean, but again, they're going to play Tennessee in their division. They're going to play Texas in their division. So some of that'll take care of itself, right? Like if they win those games, that'll take care of itself. So, yeah, we'll see. And looking at it now, I think I can speak for us both when we think A&M and Alabama are going to be playoff teams, right?
Yep.
And then after that, it's really the roll of the dice. I'm not a huge believer in Ole Miss. I think Georgia's really good. Could be Texas. Who knows? Missouri's been great, but they can't move the ball downfield. So we'll see if that sticks. And I think Missouri's the overachieving team after Vanderbilt of the SEC this year. We talked about this multiple times preseason. We didn't think they were going to get to 7 wins, and I think there's that they already have 6. So yeah, I think Vanderbilt kind of raised their own scale. That's why I say if they could potentially lose one more and still be there, depending on what that loss looks like, and if they win out, or obviously I mean they might win the SEC if they win out. So it's going to be interesting. It's cool to see them play well.
Did you see the ending of the Florida State game?
I actually
by the way, it's miserable. This team, 3-4 now. I mean, I don't know how this team ever beat Bama.
They dominated Bama. That's what's wild.
It's amazing.
They crushed Bama.
They are not that good of a football team, but the Florida State, the ending to the Stanford game was just absolutely insane. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Basically, the game looked like it was over 3 times, and then penalties happened, and all kinds of funny stuff. And Florida State couldn't have had more opportunities to win the game. And then they got stopped at the 1 millimeter line, maybe, but there was no camera angle because one of their players was in the way of the down the goal line that they needed. And I'm pretty sure he broke the plane, but the call on the field was he was short, so there was literally nothing they could do because they couldn't find definitive evidence. It's about as bad as it could go for a team to lose a football game.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe I think the beginning of the year was probably more attributed to Alabama. I mean, than Florida State being good, but Alabama just not having their shit together yet. Right?
They're just not ready to start.
The kid's starting his first game. Jalen Milroe is in the NFL now, playing for Seattle. I think they were just finding their footing, and they've gotten better. And I've said before, I'm not an Alabama fan. I couldn't stand him when Saban was there, like the evil empire. But good for Kalen DeBoer. It's really hard to follow a legend, and I think he's a good football coach, and I think he's proving it right now.
By the way, Broncos are losing this game today. Broncos are not that good of a football team.
Is it, or are the Giants?
No, the Giants aren't
not as bad as we thought.
The Giants might be better than we thought. The Broncos' offense Bo Nix is starting to turn into what I thought he was. Just not a great quarterback.
Yeah, he's got weapons too.
He does.
There's no lack of talent there.
No, he kind of he makes terrible decisions. It's all starting to come out now. I mean, they shouldn't have. The Jets, the worst team maybe we've ever seen in these New York Jets this year, should have beat them last week.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
This team is terrible. The Giants are winning this game. If no one's going to hear this while it's going on, but I'm going to make a nice play on the Giants right now on live bet.
Oh,
sometimes, like I say with live betting, Jimmy, you just got to trust your eyes. All right, I want to lump these teams together, and then tell me how incredible this is. If I told you right now, Penn State and Clemson were both going to be 3-4. If I told you that in August, I should say, what are the odds you would have set that at?
I mean, I
10,000 to 1.
Yeah. The odds that wouldn't exist, right? Yeah. Penn State, we think is going to win the national championship. Clemson comes out. Oh, every fucking expert is picking them to be in the Final Four.
Yep.
Right? Everybody. And they're just that's another conversation. Is Dabo on the hot seat or what? Are we finally gonna everybody came back. It's not a fresh team. You can't say, hey, right? This is a growing. No, he brought 11 or 10 people came back on the offense or some shit.
And look, he's looking. I hate to say it, he's looking worse and worse with his comments.
I haven't heard any, but I never liked his comments. I'm not a Dabo Sweeney guy. That's got to be
his basically. You basically said, whatever, sometimes you don't go 10 and you can't go 10-3 every year. I've been pretty good. But Nick
Saban would disagree.
Yeah, exactly. You can't do this either.
No, No, at some point you gotta answer for it. Now, if I'm a fan, if I'm a Clemson guy, or I give him another year, I don't give up on him now. But if this happens again next year, then we're done. It also doesn't help that he was very vocal against the transfer portal and NIL, right?
Yep.
And now he's getting buried.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you don't think those comments? You don't think like players and recruits heard that shit? Like and said like, oh, he's not like they know yet you're not for this. You're not going to. You're not going to be cool. Like, imagine you had to sit down with your boss or your coach, and you're like, hey, I had to make the best decision for my life, and I'm going to do this thing. And you're going to be shamed by him, and that he's not going to give a shit about your NIL money because he thinks it's not like. I don't think that. I think that was a real. Even if he felt that way, which clearly he does, bad business decision making those comments publicly.
Yep. Not a great move by him. All right, let's run down the rest of the slate from football. I will say the one I pointed out, I hope some people took it we had to listen to the show pretty quickly after I posted it. But I had a real good feeling Minnesota was going to defend the home turf. They were getting 7.5. I thought that was a terrible line from Nebraska. Minnesota won the game outright 24-6. So that was good.
I would have gone the other way on that. You were right. I'll take the L there.
Yeah, Minnesota is a little better than I think we think. I think they can win games against, mediocre teams, which is what Nebraska is, let's be honest. I mean, they're both 5-2, but they're second tier, third tier teams at best. But the one that shocked me was the Miami game. I sat there just in kind of disbelief that Miami let Louisville come in. Who, I get it, they were 4-1, but I don't think anyone thought an unranked Louisville team was better than Miami, especially in Miami. And Louisville looked like the much better team that whole game.
They did, and they jumped them all the way up to 19th in the rankings.
Miami slid to where?
Miami slid to 9. I still think Miami's really good. Look, teams lay an egg once in a while. I think we're seeing a lot more parity in college football, and I think that's a good thing, right? I truly believe that. I think that it was way too much of Alabama and everybody else, or Ohio State, so it's a good thing. So I think Miami can overcome this. I think Carson Beck's still a really good quarterback, but neither of us. After they went after Miami, and you called it, even with laying the points, went to Florida State and won that game. Like, I was like, all right, like this is it. This was not where I expected them to stub their toe. They've got SMU. They're at SMU in 2 weeks, and that's the game that I have circled. Like, that might be, if they lose that game, then you have real concerns. Other than that, the rest of their schedule is fairly pedestrian. So if they can pull that game off, that should be their one loss of the year. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? You think Louisville's for real?
I think they'll be competitive. It wouldn't shock me if these two teams rematch in the championship game, because I think Georgia Tech will stub their toe once or twice. Let me check. I got to look and see if does Louisville hook up with Tech. They do not. They avoid them. So it's got to come down to God, you know what? If they all finish with one loss, Miami could be on the outside looking in with the tiebreaker now.
Yeah, what's crazy about Tech is they play Georgia like they always do, but to end the year, right? But other than that, I'm looking at their schedule now. I mean, they beat Clemson at home at Georgia Tech, which now doesn't look that impressive, right? Because Clemson's god awful. So they have just a cupcake schedule. I mean, listen to who they've got to go. They're at home. First, Syracuse comes to town. Then they go to NC State. Then they go to BC. Then Pitt comes to town. I mean, Georgia Tech is gonna I'd love to see the over/under on losses, because they're gonna have one loss this year, and it's gonna be to Georgia to end the year, because they just don't play anybody. I mean, BC's 1-6, Pitt is 5-2. I mean, that, like, stranger things have happened. The Syracuse isn't coming to Georgia and winning the game. They're not gonna go to lose to the Wolfpack, North Carolina. Like, they're gonna be a one-loss team, and it, like, most likely, because the Pitt game is at home. So, but I can't remember a weaker schedule.
No, right? You're not wrong. It's gonna suck though. It's gonna be funny though to see again. These crazy things happen. It wouldn't if Miami's left out because of a tiebreaker, and it winds up being G Tech and Louisville in the championship game, but Miami finishes with one loss. Now you got a problem, because Do you put Miami in the playoff? How many ACC teams are going to get it? They put 2 in last year because the same situation happened, right? They get Clemson 1, but they just said, how do we leave SMU out now? So SMU got in. So maybe they'll get 2 teams in. But again, how's Louisville not going to be sit there screaming if Louisville gets made the championship game, say they lose the championship game, and G-Tech gets in automatically, and they put Miami in over Louisville, and Louisville's beat Miami and lost to the champion. How, you know what I mean? There's going to be some scenarios where this gets wild.
No, I think it's a really good point. Louisville goes to SMU. It's like second to last game of the season. Clemson's coming to Louisville, which again now looks like a really winnable game. I mean,
oh yeah,
Clemson came alive at any time. It would be, but yeah, I think if Louisville, Clemson, and Georgia Tech all end up with 1 loss, Louisville's in for sure. They have to be. They beat Miami. That wasn't right, so you have to put them. But like, how would that work? You educate me. Like, if they all have 1 loss at the end of the year, who goes to the playoffs?
There's a million tiebreaker situations. So you mean the championship game?
Yeah, the ACC. So the Miami,
Louisville got the tiebreaker over Miami because they just beat them.
And Georgia Tech's loss would be out of conference. So would they get?
Yeah, it'll be the in-conference records. And
yeah, so Miami would be a D1 on the outside looking in.
Yep.
So how you would justify it is Miami doesn't get to the championship game, but ends with 1 loss, and both of the other teams have 1 loss. Georgia Tech loses to Georgia, and then they lose in the championship game to Louisville, and then you put Miami in and Georgia Tech's on the outside looking out.
And Georgia Tech's going, we ran the but they didn't beat Miami or Louisville. Yeah, that's the way they get it.
They didn't beat Miami or Louisville. They lost to Georgia.
They'd have 2 losses.
And then they lost to Louisville.
Someone's going to have 2 losses because they're going to play. 2 of them are going to play each other.
Right. Yep. I think if Miami doesn't get in the ACC championship, they will get in because they'll lose. Assuming now, if Georgia Tech somehow beats Georgia, then there's the conundrum because then they go to the ACC championship. They win, they're obviously in. If they lose, now you're like, well, their 1 loss was in the AFC championship to Louisville. Louisville beat Miami.
Yeah, it's gonna
right?
it's gonna
it's gonna be fun. ACC is gonna be actually very interesting.
Stay tuned for the November shows, folks. It's gonna get great when we try to figure out who's getting in the playoff. I was impressed with Georgia, and they played a perfect 4th quarter to come back, outscoring them 17-0 in the 4th to win 43-35 and even cover the spread. So I think both Ole Miss and Georgia are good teams, but Ole Miss, once again this year, just shows us they just seem to not be able to get a big stop when it matters.
Yeah, like I said, I obviously I don't keep up as in depth with Ole Miss as the other teams. Jackson Dart was the kind of big story last year. I don't know. I'm not going to try to speak too deeply on it. I haven't been impressed with the little bit I've watched of them. I don't think they're a contender or a threat, in my opinion. On a small sample size, transparently.
I'll tell you, while we're here in live time, Jackson Dart's going to go over his passing prop in the first half, 13-0 Giants. Broncos.
CeeDee Lamb just caught a huge pass.
Touchdown?
Yeah. There was no. I mean, he literally for about 20 yards walked, sort of trotted.
It's something here. They are. Broncos are down 13, missed extra point, 13-0. Look, I think it's time we just all get on board. The Colts are just a monster of a team.
They're very good.
They are smacking the Chargers, and I said on our Thursday show that while I wouldn't load up on the Chargers by any means, I thought it was probably a bad spot for the Colts because again, we're not going to go 16-1, so you got to pick a couple games that they might lose. I thought this was one of them. Boy, was not even close. They're going to blow the Chargers out. Chargers are not that good, and they were a sexy pick this year. Them and the Broncos to overtake the Chiefs.
Well, they were talking earlier. Like their offensive line's so banged up that they can only run so much offense at this point. Like they can't open it up.
Yeah.
Like they were talking to the interview with the offensive coordinator. Like they have a very small set of plays that they feel comfortable with because it's just so bad there. And that happens in the NFL, right? But it's unfortunate. But their defense should still be solid. But hey, I want you to write this down. It's the 30-minute and 34-second, 35-second. This is where Greg's either gonna edit the show or he's gonna do a quick solo because I need another cocktail and I don't have one next to me. So
I'll be right back. We'll let Jimmy run for a cocktail. He'll be right back.
You can make fun of me while I'm gone.
Yeah, That's fine. That's why we have me here. I can fill the dead air. While Jimmy's away, we'll talk about some live updates, which I just gave. The Broncos now are not sure they were driving. That's now 2nd and 9, Jimmy. But yeah, Jimmy liked the Jackson Dart passing prop. That's going to literally lose in the first half, so that sucks. But it's a good theory that he wouldn't pass all over the Broncos. Cowboys look very good, now up 17-8. Jimmy just told you that CeeDee Lamb caught a big pass. He did 74-yard touchdown pass. He's back. He's going to be good. He's going to be very viable in fantasy, so I'm glad to see that he's back. And then, again, the Colts just all over the Chargers early. And Tyler Warren, who I'm so mad I missed out in our draft. I got snaked. I had him on my board to take in the next round, and I lost him.
Just got snaked.
Yeah, got snaked in that one. He's going to be whoever took him in front of me there. If you don't keep him, you're crazy, because I think you got him double-digit rounds. Then we got I'll tell you what. While we're on fantasy, Judkins, my man,
Couple TDs.
couple.
But did he end up with 3?
I get a 3-pack tonight, didn't he? Maybe it was 2.
I thought he had 2. I mean, I should know, obviously. But yeah, this is the first game, and as long as I can remember, that the Browns were winning, and I wasn't nervous that they might lose.
No, we called the Browns on the Thursday show. Ryan was trying to give us a little pushback. We told you, Tua, I think it's over, folks. I think the Tua experiment is done, and I've been saying it for 6 years, whatever it's been. The Dolphins drafting Tua over Herbert was one of the worst draft calls of all time, because Herbert with the Finns. Imagine with that offense Tua had that one year when everyone was healthy. Waddle, Hill. The first year A-Chain was there. Imagine Herbert with those weapons.
Yeah, I mean Herbert's. Yeah, clearly they made the wrong move. This happens all the time. You can't really say it about Tua because he was good all in college, but it happens. It was like the Aaron Rodgers scenario with Alex Smith. Alex Smith ended up being a solid NFL quarterback, but it's like, and we talk about this in our professional lives too. It's like the what's popular right now. Like Alex Smith got hot at Utah at the end, and then he went number 1 overall, and Aaron Rodgers fell. It happened the same thing. Like Justin Herbert, the year before, was considered to be potentially the number 1 overall pick, and then a little bit of a tough year at Oregon, and he starts to slide. He didn't look at the body of work. He was a good quarterback. Things change on teams. Players change. People graduate, people move on. So the idea that all of a sudden his stock dropped to me didn't make any sense. Now you can make that argument for Nussmeier this year. The problem is he's got all the talent in the world and they should be better, right? And he was never great. He was just good, and we thought he'd take that next step, and he didn't. But yeah, hindsight on this, it should be 2020. How about the fact that what's his name? Jesus Christ, old age. The Philadelphia quarterback. Jalen Hurts is going to is a much better NFL quarterback than Tua, right?
I know, crazy.
And Tua bitched about Brian Flores that he was a bully and that he was mean and he didn't like him and all these things. And then all this stuff comes out, and Brian Flores gets this bad rap, and they fire him and they bring Mike McDaniels. And they have these pieces last year on Countdown about how, no, Tua's my guy, and Tua says, hey, he loves me, he trusts me, and all this shit. And then Tua comes out after the game last week and basically trashes Mike McDaniels as a leader. Well, maybe it's Tua. Maybe Tua's a baby, right? And maybe he's a whiny baby and he can't figure shit out. And look, I say this seriously, he's had a lot of head injuries, so I don't know, right? It's been scary what he's been through, but he doesn't seem to understand accountability as a leader in the concept in general. So I don't think Tua is a leader. I think he's a decent quarterback. He's got good timing. When things are right, he can play well, but I don't think he's a leader of men, and I don't think he's going to, I think this is it for him. I think McDaniels might get fired. I think maybe while we're doing the show, he might get fired, but I don't think Tua's far behind him. I think that whole experiment is done and gone.
All right, as we zigzag back and forth between college and pro, yesterday I thought Bama showed us that they are going to be a contender after that win over Tennessee. That 37-20, I know it was in Bama, but they looked so much better.
Yeah, Bama is, if you're a Bama fan, it's exactly what you want. They're getting better as the season goes on, right? They've got, again, they have a new quarterback. Indianapolis just intercepted Herbert on a bounce spot. But that's what you want to see. You want to see progress. You have a new starting quarterback this year. You've got new pieces, right? It's a Kalen DeBoer's second year, and that's what you're seeing. They're getting better as the season goes on. That's a sign of a team that's actually good and going to do something. So if I'm a Bama fan, I feel really good right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, now I'll let you take this one because you kind of called it, and then we lost some plays yesterday because you said, and we just took the Texas Tech money line. But the play here was State in the points. You basically said it. There were too many injury concerns for Tech. What was going to happen? And the minute we heard Leavitt was playing, you probably should have took over a touchdown with Arizona State at home.
Yeah, you're right. We are 100% right. It looked really good coming in for Bear Morton the week before. Ran the ball really effectively. Made a couple of passes when he needed to, but clearly wasn't ready to manage an entire game from start to finish. Like I said, I between Tech and A&M, I would have taken Tech all day long. Now, certainly without their starting quarterback, I think A&M's the team to watch in Texas. But yeah, no, you're right. That's one we should have hit.
All right, the Ducks absolutely blow out your Jersey team, Rutgers, 56-10. Thanks for making the trip. Thanks for making the trip there, Rutgers. I see LSU's taking a little heat, so is Brian Kelly, but we talked about this Thursday. I didn't think they had a chance to win this game in Vandy. Vandy's better than people think. Their defense is good. Diego's a great quarterback. They're 31-24. I didn't think there was a lot of shame in losing that game at Vandy. I think there's two, I'll call them second-tier SEC teams. I hate to say that because we thought LSU might sneak up and surprise everyone to win this division, but I think it's Bama, Georgia. I still lean, well, A&M definitely, but I was going to say I still kind of lean Ole Miss maybe in that top tier, but maybe we got to slide them down 1-2, and then it's, LSU, maybe we put Ole Miss in that tier in Vandy. We talked about G-Tech and Duke. Again, to all of you who knew that Georgia Tech was going to, stop them on the goal line a bunch of times and outscore them 17-8 in the fourth, please come on the show because you guys got to give us how you do that. We called Notre Dame, Jimmy. We thought they would not only cover the spread, which it depends when you bet it. We got it at 9.5. If you bet it late, you lost by a half point because it closed at 10.5. But I thought they were impressive. I thought they showed that their running back duo is a thing. And they're gonna make the playoffs. I'll tell you that right now. Even with 2 losses, they're gonna make the playoffs.
I agree. I'm actually gonna pull up the remaining schedule here. I don't know. I haven't actually looked at it deep, but yeah, I mean they've rattled off 5 in a row. They go to BC. That's a win. Navy goes to Notre Dame. I know Navy's undefeated, but that should be a win. They go to Pitt, Syracuse, and then Stanford. Yep, they should be a 2-loss team. They will make the playoffs. And they'll be dangerous because they're good. Carr is a good quarterback. I mean,
I mean, look, they did okay last year. Not a big spoiler. They were just fine. Maybe this is the year they actually close it out and win the national championship. I will say this. I said it on our show again. Not to keep beating the dead horse. I was telling you all day yesterday. My biggest play yesterday. Thank God I got home because it's not going well for me today. Was BYU. I thought they completely had the wrong team favored. Money was pouring in on Utah, and I couldn't figure it out. So I'm glad I didn't get scared away. BYU closed as a 4.5-point dog at home, and they just completely outplayed them 24-21, and it looks a lot closer than it was. BYU managed the game perfectly, and in the fourth quarter, it really was never in doubt.
Yeah, that was a good call by you. That Utah quarterback, it was a really good story to start the year, but yeah. I don't know why, and obviously in hindsight, but you knew it ahead of time, like why the line was what it was going to BYU. It didn't make any sense.
Do you think Auburn would be a top 15 team if they could just pick their best 50 minutes every week? Because it's getting ridiculous. They lose 23-17 to Missouri in a game that they should have won. I mean, they didn't start out great, but then they wind up getting up a touchdown and then completely falling apart.
Yeah.
Again,
those little things that separate the good, champs from not. And Missouri, I mean, look, a couple picks in that game. I mean, they already can't move the ball downfield well. It's not, I think the bigger story here is Missouri. Like, how is Missouri 6-1? Like I said, we ran down the schedule twice, once with Dan and once on the preview show, and we're like, this team does not get this. There's no way they get 8 wins. They probably don't get to 7. And now,
let's be fair. We thought they'd lose at Auburn, right?
Right.
But they got to go to Vandy. They got to play A&M. They got to go to Oklahoma.
You're not wrong.
If the other one snips them, then there's your 7. They're still going to be at 7.
This is what I think. I think they win 9 games. I think they win the 2 games they should. I think they go to Arkansas and win. Mississippi State at Missouri, I think they win. And I think there's going to be an upset. They're going to either beat Oklahoma.
They're not winning against Oklahoma on the road. Maybe if you want to really call it a big upset, maybe they get A&M at home.
Yeah, maybe. Vanderbilt. They're playing good. They're playing well. They definitely. I think they get to 8 for sure, right? And that would have won us that bet. But yeah, no. Look, the Alabama game was a good game, right? Like their one loss, and it was at Missouri, so I understand it was a home game. They didn't have to go to Bama. My God, the Broncos just got stopped on 4th and goal. Jesus.
Oh, yeah, they have no chance of winning this game.
It's unbelievable. It's really and it was a bad play call. They were down. They had 4 plays to get the ball in the end zone. They couldn't figure it out. And Bo Nix has wheels. Like, roll him out. Make him run the ball.
It's terrible. Terrible play calling. Terrible everything.
Bad. And that's Sean Payton's thing. He's supposed to be a fucking genius play caller.
The only chance the Broncos have to get back in this game is if the defense comes up big here somehow, gets a stop or a turnover, and they get the ball right back and they get into halftime at 13-7. If this game goes into the half 13-0, God forbid it goes to 16 or 20-0 or even 13-3, Giants are winning this game. And again,
you're right. I got to tell you what, on the Arizona game too, Jacoby Brissett is to me one of the best backup quarterbacks.
Oh, definitely. This was a good bet. I can't remember. I have a bet right now with Cowboys and Cardinals. I can't remember what we did in the other account.
We have a bet that is Broncos money line, looks like a loser.
Yeah, and
with the Cardinals plus 10.5.
Loser.
I never thought I'd feel better about the Cardinals piece of the puzzle here, but I certainly do. Our bigger play was on the Cowboys. We have the Browns and Cowboys money line going. Browns cashed out, obviously. Cowboys look good right now, so let's see what happens.
So that's what I have. I have a big play on that. Everything else was kind of a disaster today because I really thought there was no way the Broncos would go home and not win the game. I didn't know if they'd cover, but I didn't think there was a chance they wouldn't win the game today at home, and they're not going to.
I trusted Vance Joseph and to stop a rookie quarterback, but especially with the defense that they have. Like that was like the whole Belichick thing, right? A rookie quarterback wasn't going to go beat Belichick. He was going to confuse him. He was going to get him. Like you knew there was no chance a rookie quarterback was going to go in there and get after the Patriots. And I thought Sean Payton and Vance Joseph would do the same thing. It's not over yet, but it doesn't look good.
I hope, Jimmy, everyone's listening to this later tonight, tomorrow, or Tuesday going, man, they really panicked on those Broncos, and they came back and still won and covered. They had a huge I hope that's the case, but I don't think it will be.
That would be fantastic.
All right, Texas. What do we do with Texas here? They're 5-2 now, 2-1 in the SEC, but they squeaked by Kentucky in overtime. Do we?
I know. I think Arch Manning is a bad quarterback. I mean, yeah, I hate saying that. I don't think he's bad. I just think he's like a decent college quarterback. Have you seen anything from Arch Manning that makes you think pro quarterback?
Nope,
not a thing.
Not one thing.
Not a thing.
And I think someone will draft him because of the last name, but
but
if you draft this guy, Jimmy, before the 5th round, you're out of your mind.
Right, those. I mean, and if you just use common sense, and I'm not the first person to say this out loud, so I'm not going to take credit for it. But if he was that good, they would have started him over Quinn Ewers. He's Arch Manning, the name. If he was 90% of Quinn Ewers last year, they would have started him because it would have been better for the whole setup. But he wasn't. So he's got these. He's always thrown from a weird angle when it's unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not like it's not like the Patrick Mahomes like, oh, somebody's got their hands up and I need to wheel it, or Josh Allen, I need to wheel it around, or even Lamar does it. He's like throwing these weird sidearm passes when it's completely unnecessary. There's no like
Yeah.
there's nobody with their hands up. There's no it's a you have a direct path to the receiver and you're pulling this funny angle. I almost feel bad for him. Maybe the expectations were just set way too high, not from himself because of his name, but I don't see anything that says this guy's a pro. Like if the draft was next week and the season ended now, he wouldn't get drafted.
He'll get drafted because of the name, but it's
He
going to
would,
be
okay, but he'd be a fourth or fifth round pick,
it's
right?
going to be what the Browns did with Sanders. Someone's going to take him as a flyer and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
All right, our boys from Memphis threw up all over themselves yesterday at UAB as almost a 3-touchdown favorite. They lose 31-24. They are probably now cooked. No chance they make the college playoff, and it's too bad because UAB gave them every chance they wanted in the fourth quarter to try to score a touchdown and get back in that game and send it to overtime, and they couldn't. However, one of our other long shots we gave out, who is now 4-0 in the Big 12, is Cincinnati, who just absolutely torched Oklahoma State 49-17. So that 30-1 shot looks alive, Jimmy, still. So that's good.
Did you see the? Yeah, no, it does. Cincinnati's a good team this year. You're right. Did you see the stuff on NFL Countdown about it? It's Chris Morton's son that's coaching UAB, and he was really cool about it. He's like, hey, we don't, Trent Dilfer was our friend. We don't celebrate this. I'd like this to not be a story. But it was, because they obviously all know Mort or knew Mort. And when you're a 3-touchdown dog and you pull off the win, it's going to be a story.
No, you celebrate it.
Yeah.
Don't
100%.
And Trent Dilfer's, he's not our friend. So let's move on. All right. You know who is our friend? The Michigan Wolverines. And we called it on the show. You questioned me, but I told you I thought we'd handle Washington at home, no problem. We take them by 17. The problem, I think, and I agree with you, Michigan, we're a year early. They're not going to make the playoffs. They should get into a decent bowl game that we'll get to watch. But the problem I think we have with Michigan is we're never going to be able to play in a shootout. You know what I mean? If someone puts up 35 points, we can't play with you. But if you want to get in the trenches and get, like, if we can get Ohio State in that type of game, we can beat Ohio State at home 24-21. What we can't do is beat them 42-38.
Couldn't agree more. And that's predictable with a freshman quarterback, right? Like it's like having a rookie quarterback in the NFL. You don't want to get into a shootout with somebody. You want to control the game. You want to play smart. And Bryce Underwood can't. He has wheels, and he hasn't really used them a lot yet. He started to use them a little bit now. He had a really nice game. Didn't turn the ball over. Yeah, I think the future is really, really bright. Like I'll say it till the end of this year. We're just a year early. Watch out for Michigan next year, but they're going to get a decent bowl game. And yeah, you're absolutely right. If I don't want to say they're a front running team, but it's just a style of play. When you're playing in the D1 or in the NFL, and you're a ball controlled team, if you get out to a lead, you can kind of control the game. But to your point, if you get way behind, they're just not there. They don't have the ability to do it.
And my last one, I just want to point out, because it was one of my plays of the day. It was BYU and then this team. And boy, let me just say, Cougars, I got blood pressure issues as there is. I don't need you to contribute to them. This should have been an easy winner because they were up 14 going into the fourth. But nope, we sweated this out to a last-second field goal, but Houston got the money, 31-28. So thank you, Cougs, over Arizona. But, man, did you make me sweat it out.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy one.
It was not. We'll get to the NFL in a sec. But before we get to the actual games, just an observation I've made the last few weeks, and we brought it up on the show, and I just want to bring it up again. I mean, the inconsistency in the officiating is driving me up a freaking wall. Someone barely grazes someone. Here comes the flag in a big moment. Pass interference. Let us decide the game. I watched the Eagles game, and I'm not just saying this because I thought that was the trap game of the week, so I thought Minnesota was the play. But Justin Jefferson was getting dry humped, Jimmy, up and down the field the whole game, and he didn't get one call.
Yeah, no, it's pretty bad. I mean, it's tough because, like, Major League Baseball could eventually be taken over.
Give it up 3rd and 10 on their own.
I know. Just pass interference.
Yeah,
that was a pretty weak pass interference, by the way.
Yep, another one.
Yeah, like he didn't grab him. They basically like were running and sort of like got entangled. Like it wasn't a blatant pass interference. No, but like Major League Baseball could go to a complete AI system where balls and strikes are no longer questionable. It's this is where they land and this is where they don't, and we don't need a person telling us. The NFL, I don't know that it's possible because it's not balls and strikes with a strike zone. It's not you're out or you're not with replay. It's a lot of it is subjective, and I think that does become difficult. But I agree. I mean, and there's a whole team that watches these games and judges these refs, right? And figures out who the playoff crew is going to be and so on. So there are checks and balances, but that can certainly be tough to watch.
Giants are going to be up 16, buddy. 16 minimum, 16-0 at the half.
Here come the Chargers are in scoring position. They 3rd and 7. Let's see what they do here.
We don't have any investment in the Chargers, though. I just saw a turnover. You got intercepted.
No, I just Yep, there you go. Nice pick there, Herbert. That's on Herbert. That's just a bad play.
Second pick of the game.
Yep.
We don't have anything invested on the Chargers, though, right?
We don't, but just as fans, it's
Could the Jags be the worst 4-3 team in the history of the NFL?
Yeah, I think they're a fucking joke still. I think that Trevor Lawrence, when they won 2 weeks ago, was unbelievably lucky that he fell down, got up, and nobody touched him, and he stumbled into the end zone. Yes, the Jacksonville Jaguars are not a good team. Obviously, Indianapolis is the belle of the South. They're gonna win it, but I think Houston's the second best team in that division.
I think Trevor Lawrence is a backup at best in this league right now.
Yeah, and he's got a contract like a fucking Hall of Famer.
You're not wrong.
The receiver, that's why they handcuff themselves.
The receivers can't even catch. I watched the game this morning. I'm just like, they all have pan hands, except Hunter and Brian Thomas. They're the only ones who can catch a pass.
And him and Brian Thomas can't. Like, they thought he was going to take this huge step in year 2, and Brian Thomas can't seem to get it. Like, they can't seem to get on the same page.
Right, and it's more on Trevor, I think, than him.
I agree. I think Trevor's a problem. I agree with you.
ETN can't find a hole anymore. Like, he doesn't even know how to run the ball. And the team commits a penalty almost every other play, it seems like. It's just, the team is, I can't believe they're 4-3, I think is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Then you go to Minnesota, who, again, I kept saying last year, every week, I was like, they're going to lose. I don't even know how they're good. This year, I mean, the defense still seems serviceable. They have a decent defense. You can't have Carson Wentz as your quarterback, everybody. You got to get JJ back in there. I mean, Wentz is a statue. He can't move, and that's why they lost today. The Eagles just completely took advantage of him because they knew, all right, well, he'll stay in the pocket, so here's how we guard the red zone. And they couldn't score when they should have scored. I mean, what was it, 1st and goal on the 5, and they wound up kicking the field goal when they could have got back down 2?
Yeah, for a guy that like came into the league with mobility as his thing, he certainly can't move very well anymore. But I said this to you off air earlier today. Like, JJ's got to get healthy and get back in because he missed an entire season due to injury, and I get it. Blowing your knee out's like a thing that happens, and nobody can help it. But now he's got an ankle sprain. Like, he's got availability is important, and he's got to figure that out at some point.
Yeah, and I think the story of this year for their defense versus last year is they can't get the stop when they need to because they could have got the ball back with a chance to win, but 3rd down they give up. What was it, 3rd and 7? They give it up. I mean, come on, you got to stop that.
Yeah, figure it out.
The Jets could be the worst team I've ever seen in professional sports this year.
They're bad from top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
And Aaron Glenn, is not like when Dan got to Detroit and they were bad at first, they were in games, they were fighting, they were scratching, they were clawing. And you were like, okay, this could work out. And then they got good the next year. And they just missed the playoffs, but they upset Green Bay, and then they became year 3 the Detroit we now know. Doesn't look like that. It's not like they're 0-7, but you see things that you like out of the team. Like, right. It's a disaster. Last week was a disaster with the clock management. This week they benched Justin Fields. I mean, God, somebody get Garrett Wilson out of there. Like, somebody make a trade, get him out of New York.
I got to tell you, I think it's the front office. I don't even think it's Aaron Glenn. I'm going to make a plea to the New York Jets front office. Do Aaron Glenn a favor. Pick up the phone and call Dan Campbell and say, hey, is there any chance you need a personal assistant? Because that would be a better gig than your head coach. If I was Aaron Glenn, I'd rather be Dan Campbell's personal assistant than coach that bag of garbage.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. This is the same team, though.
I wouldn't pay $25 for that franchise.
I got to tell you, though, they should, because they thought they were going to do this excellent rebuild, somebody should be on the hook for letting Aaron Rodgers walk and bring in Justin Fields. They
100%.
had him. He wanted to be there. He said, "I want to be there," and they said, "No, we're fine without your services. We're gonna like, all right." It seems like a bad idea now, huh?
Yeah, sure does.
Right.
All right.
So
Sorry.
if Aaron Rodgers was on that team, I bet you they have 3 or 4 wins right now.
You want to hear the craziest thing just because they're the NFL? What do you think the New York Jets are worth?
I bet the Jets are worth, I don't know, $4 billion.
Okay. Before I tell you how much they're worth, out of all the NFL teams, where do you think they're ranked in their worth?
I mean, there's 32 teams. I'll say they're 16th.
Okay. Would you fall down if I told you they're worth $8.1 billion, number 6?
I was halfway there.
I mean, listen, boys, put them in the clearance department because I'm with Jimmy. I wouldn't pay more than half that.
It's unbelievable.
Now I get it. They sell out every game because the poor Jet fan is still thinking they're going to win, which, I mean, I know a few of them and I feel terrible for them because you're not and you won't.
Yeah. What a loyal fan base, though, I'll tell you that.
They are. I give them credit. They really are. They're a loyal fan base. You got to love. You got to love the Broncos. They stop them. They get the ball back, and Bo Nix goes, "Let me show why I'm terrible, real quick." And it's 3rd and 20. It might as well take a knee. The Giants have a timeout, so you probably can't. They are awful, just so bad. And after the latest Herbert disaster, Colts are going to go in with a 24-point halftime lead. So nice work there. Yeah, halftime.
Unreal.
13. Is there any chance the Broncos win this game, or are you just it's Giants all day?
I don't know. Does Sean Payton have the greatest halftime speech of all time in him? The only way if we want to be glass half full, it's 13. It's not going to be 24 like it could be. Well, it's not going to be 24 now. It looks like they're probably going to kick a field goal just down to 3 seconds. So,
I'm talking about the Giants.
No, I know. I'm looking at both, but yeah, I think there's a chance if you want to be glass half full with the Broncos that they could come back because they're only going to be down 13. They're not going to be down 20 something, and who gets? I don't even know who gets the ball to start the second half. But if on the first possession they can score a touchdown and it's 13-7, then you got to think the Broncos are right back in it. But they haven't done anything to prove that yet, and we'll find out. It was a real bad move by I think it was a linebacker from the Broncos talking shit on Jackson Dart during the week. Like, I know he's a rookie, but don't give him any fucking bulletin board material, right? Like just stop.
Right now, I'm going to rapid fire at you to end the show. Patriot or Bills? Who wins the East?
Bills.
Yeah, no chance for the Patriots?
They have a chance, but I just think the Bills are the better team. I think they'll go to New England and get the win, so they'll even the season up at 1-1, and I think they'll have a better record at the end.
Let's see. I want to see if they don't have it up because people are playing. Right now, the Bills are still the second choice to win. Their second choice to win the AFC Championship game at plus 350, right behind the Chiefs. Believe it or not, the Patriots have wiggled all the way up to 12-1.
That's not bad.
No. We wouldn't believe that at the beginning of the year either. And I got to say, it pains me to say, but Kansas City, team to beat again this year. It's unbelievable. It's literally unbelievable. They are the team to beat. And I don't think there's a question about it. We're looking at Denver and we're looking at the Chargers today. These teams aren't winning the division. No chance.
No. And the Chiefs are getting, I mean, like I said, it's like the Patriots. The Chiefs are had one win. What's going to happen? And all of a sudden here they are and they look great. I mean, I was on the wrong side of the Raiders game today, and I was only on the other side because the Raiders have played decent football, and 13 points is a ton of points for a team that's not a complete scrub. Like, that's a big line in the NFL, and they couldn't do anything, and the Chiefs did whatever they wanted to. So, yeah, now that they've got their full lineup back and ready to go, they're going to be.
Yeah, it's over. All right. I'll get this out, but no one will probably listen to it. They can listen tomorrow and see if we were right or wrong. Sunday night game. I don't get the Falcon love. I know Bijan's having a hell of a year. They're the best running team in football, and they've had a great pass defense, and it's Mac Jones. The Niners seem to win these games somehow. They always find a way. So I think the Niners win. I think Kittle comes back and has a big game because I don't think they would play Kittle tonight if he wasn't healthy.
I agree. Mac Jones has played really, really well. I think Kyle Shanahan's clearly the better of these two coaches. I think that's why they keep winning, because Kyle Shanahan's a really, really good coach. I think he puts them in winning situations. I think the only game that I think they should have lost was that first game against Seattle. They should have lost that game. That was a prayer that Brock Purdy threw up, and it was answered. Otherwise, yeah, they've played really good football. Christian McCaffrey looks good. He's looked really good. They're doing it with nobody healthy, right? Like,
Right.
their quarterback's out. Their top two receivers are out. It's basically Christian McCaffrey, and their tight end was out till now. So, right, it was Christian McCaffrey and a bunch of backups. So, yeah, I mean, they're only going to get healthier, and they're proving to be a well-run organization because they're still winning games when the chips are stacked against them.
Lions 5.5 tomorrow night versus the Bucks.
Lions win the game, Bucks cover.
That seems to be the popular opinion. It's so hard to predict the Lions. I know exactly what you're saying. I think there's no way the Lions lose, but could they easily not cover? Absolutely. So I don't know what I'm going to do here. This could be the one that I put in some kind of teaser where I take some points with the Lions here, because I put them down to even in a 6-point teaser, because I think they win. But the Bucks, there's so many ways you can cover 5.5 against those Lions. They love playing close games or letting teams backdoor their way in. So I'm with you there.
The Bucks have only won one game by more than 3. So if you wanted to look at it that way, I mean, they beat the Niners pretty good, but everything else has been close. They lost to the Eagles by 6. Could have, so the 5.5, but they're just always in the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
All right. This one I think we'll probably disagree on tomorrow night, but eventually I think the Texans are just going to put a full game together. I think Seattle's a decent team, but I think this is the one where the Texans go up there. The line flexes, keeps moving between 3 and 3.5. If you can get 3.5, I got it earlier this week. I still like the Texans and that defense to go up to Seattle, play a tough game. I think it's going to be a sloppy game. I think it's going to be a slugfest. I think it lands on 3 no matter what. So I'm going to take the 3.5. Hopefully you can get back to 3.5 for you.
I could see that. I mean, we've talked about it. Texans' Achilles heel is their offensive line. Like, that's the only, like, if they could find a way to make a trade or make a couple of moves and get some protection there and get some blocking for Nick Chubb, and they got the other kid playing now, and Joe Mixon's supposed to come back. They beat a really good football team. The fact that they've rattled off 2 in a row kind of gives me hope. So I'll roll with you there. Again, Seattle should be 5-1. They should have beat the Niners week 1. They're 4-2. I think they're a really good football team. I think I would have never in a million years guessed Sam Darnold would be playing this well for a second year in a row. Maybe he turns out to be a good quarterback and doesn't collapse under the pressure of the end of the year. We'll find out. But yeah, it's a tough place to play. But if I'm with you. I think 3 in the hook. I'd lean Texans with you. And I still believe in C.J. Stroud. That's not just because of the team. I just think he's not having time, and that's not his game to be mobile. He's starting to come on. So
that was impressive there. That was about 90 seconds without a breath. I got to tell you, you must be you got to be a good underwater swimmer.
I'm not. Can barely. Got to stay above the water like a whale.
When you were making your point about the offensive line, what I was going to say was what they could try to do, and I don't know why they haven't called more of them. Run a freaking screen pass, everyone. They're going through like turnstiles.
Yeah.
Set up a screen. Maybe they'll stop blitzing you, because to Jimmy's point, 6 of them are in the backfield the minute CJ gets the ball. Throw a screen pass, for the love of Christ.
Yeah, you're not wrong. They got Nick Chubb in the backfield. They've got yeah.
And if Mixon comes back, Mixon's a great receiver out of the backfield.
Yeah.
All right. We won't, like Jimmy said earlier in the show, we're going to do our next show Friday evening because we got some work stuff going on this week, so we won't be back till Friday. But the game Thursday night is Vikings at Chargers. The look-ahead line was 2.5. I looked at some stuff. Looked like it was going to move to 3.5 or 4 after the Vikings performance today, after they shit the bed, but the Chargers look so bad. This might be back to 2.5, maybe even closer to a pick. Do the Chargers lose 2 in a row at home? The Vikings get back on track. This is a very intriguing Thursday night game, Jimmy. What do you think?
I would almost certainly avoid this game because I just have no idea. I mean, gun to my head, I'm going to tell you the Chargers pull it off because Harbaugh finds a way to continue to make Carson Wentz look bad. Even if JJ's back, he's going to be back for the first game off of an injury. I don't think it's like we talked about, there's no home game for the Chargers, so we'll just hope that a lot of Minnesotans haven't moved to Los Angeles or didn't decide to make the trip. But
I'm 100% with you.
Yeah, I lead in the Chargers.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with. I think the Chargers get it done here. I don't think they'll lose 2 in a row at home. I mean, I'm looking at it right now as we go to the halves in almost all these games. I don't think they'll win, but I think the Chargers will put together a good third or fourth quarter to at least make this game respectable against the Colts at home. I think obviously the Cowboys are going to close at 20-8. I think the Cowboys will wind up winning, and I think the Giants are going to move to 3-4, and we're going to have to start looking at them to say, hey, were we right in the summer where we said if they start Jackson Dart, maybe they're actually a decent football team? And it's looking like, hey, maybe they are. And maybe the Broncos aren't as good as we thought they were because their offense is just lost, Jimmy.
It's not great. I think we're also going to talk about, is Kyler Murray done in Arizona?
Yeah, that's also true.
At some point, because Jacoby Brissett, it's got them beating the Packers. Kyler, and look, those losses weren't necessarily on Kyler. Kid dropping the ball before he crosses the plane, the whole thing, but it's not good. It's not good.
All right, we appreciate you listening. We thought it would be fun to do a Sunday show, especially while the games were going on. We might try to do a few more of those. Again, if you have any questions for us, please email us at whoyougot33@gmail.com. Follow us on X at whoyougot33, as you'll see links posted to our short videos, and Jimmy will post pics every now and again. And please hit that like, subscribe button after watching us. Follow us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. Jimmy, any final words?
Brown season isn't quite over yet.
It's not, because you know what? It's never under until it's over.